Micheline with Fit and Healthy for Yourself, and today is I want to talk about part two of my own personal journey to a healthier me. Um, like yesterday, I or last time I talked about my childhood, how I grew up in a communist East Germany behind the wall. Yep, I know a couple things about living behind the wall. So, if you haven't checked that out yet, check out my other blog. Um, and today I want to continue on what happened after I finished high school. The wall had come down at that point, and East and West Germany had united, and I was actually able to finally travel outside of Germany. So, I grew up never knowing anything much about the Western world, but after high school, I decided I wasn't going to jump right back into school. After 12 years of school, you kind of want to take a break before you go off to college for another couple of years of school. So I ended up signing up for 1 year abroad in the US as an au pair. So I ventured immediately over the ocean, and I never had been on an airplane before. I never traveled really anywhere alone. We had school trips and all that, but I never traveled anywhere alone. No family, and back then that was almost 20 years ago, and there were no cell phones, emails, and all that. Not really. So you couldn't really say that you constantly were in contact with your family. You had to have a payphone or a regular landline. So, and that was really all there is, and the regular snail mail letters that take a week to get anywhere. So, but I did it. Sometimes we step out of our comfort zone, not even knowing we're doing it. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes we are pushed, sometimes it's intentional, and sometimes we don't even notice. Sometimes we don't even care that it is outside our comfort zone. I didn't think about it. I just wanted to do it. I didn't think twice about what could go wrong. I wasn't scared or anything. I was just excited. I wanted to do it. So, and, when time came, I did it. Yeah, I missed my family and all that, but I still think that entire experience changed my entire life because I'm still here. So, but after growing up with always having home cooked meals, fresh food from the garden or from my grandparents' farm, I now came to the US. And back then, 20 years ago, the US pretty much had the US was known for fast food, McDonald's and all those, and having a lot of heavy people. That's just the way it was. So, and strangely, I actually did not come here and immediately gained a lot of weight. Um, the the lifestyle here was a lot different. A lot, I moved to the US, to New York, so it's definitely different than other parts of the country. Everything was fast paced here. Everything was tailored to convenience, comfort, and getting things quickly done. So sure, there was a lot. There was some fresh foods, vegetables and fruits and all that available to me. But there was also a lot of processed foods that were available, and the fast foods that snuck in when you really actually had a lot to do. Because around here at home, every pretty much evolved around a schedule and an eating schedule. We ate breakfast at a certain time, we ate lunch at a certain time, we ate dinner at a certain time. Here in the US, it was, I learned quickly, it was more a schedule of everything else what you had to do, and you just kind of tried to fit the food in to that schedule. And therefore convenience and processed food, quick food, pretty much ruled it. So but I wasn't used to fast food. I wasn't used to processed food. So I actually ended up losing quite a bit of weight when I came here because I didn't really want to change my eating style. And there was a lot of different foods here that I didn't necessarily have the guts to immediately try. So, I never had lobster before. I never had shrimp before. So, all those things I slowly grew into. And so I actually ended up losing weight. And then, I put it back on, but only always to the amount where I was always pretty much stable at never, to the weight I came with when I moved over here. So altogether, that pretty much dominated about 10 years of my life. I ended up going to college here. So that again, added to my stress schedule with college, jobs, and everything. So I became more accustomed. I slowly became more and more accustomed to the fast foods and convenience food. It kind of snuck into my life that way as I became more and more, let's say, Americanized, that I actually ended up having that stressful schedule that pretty much every American has. So where, your schedule doesn't revolve around food anymore. You just kind of try to fit it in wherever you have time. So that's pretty much where my eating style and lifestyle changed and where I deviated from how I grew up. So, and that even went further down the hill once I moved out on my own, away from, because when you come here as an au pair, you live with a host family that takes you in. So I lived with them for quite a while. And then when I moved out on my own, that's when the stress level really took a hit and, skyrocketed, because now you have bills to pay, jobs to do. I still had some college to finish. So now my eating style really became completely abominable. So, and, you still try to eat your vegetables now and then because you kind of know. So you have your moments. I had my moments where I know I have to do better. So I would do, I would do fine for a couple weeks, month. You try to eat more salads, you try to do some green smoothies, and then something happen and you fall off the bandwagon. And again, you find yourself at, Panera and Chipotle, because you just don't have the time to cook, and you don't have the time. You get home at 9 o'clock at night, and the last thing you want to do is cook. So, so that's pretty much where my lifestyle changed. And we ever all have our wake up calls, because sooner or later your body starts rebelling, and I had my wake up call. That's a story for next time, for part 3.